Hello, today I'd like to summarize Surah Al-Fil, which is Surah number 103 from Quran, and it is one of the most recited surahs of all time amongst Muslims. Um, Pretty much everyone knows about Surah Al-Fil, but I'll just like to summarize that quickly so that we could recall and refresh our memories about this surah. So the history of this surah is that this incident of Al-Fil happened 50 days before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born. Uh, the the emperor in the country of Yemen wanted to wanted to bring all the business into his area, and at that time all the businesses were primarily hovering around Kaaba because everyone used to perform pilgrimage in Kaaba, and he decided to build a biggest temple of his time, a very glorious temple he built, and he wanted everyone to come here so that he could get all the business. It just so happened that a few people who got disgruntled from the tribe of Quraysh, they went to Yemen to discuss or do something, and there are different riwayats, but it just so happened that the temple got burned down, and Abraha thought that it only happened because of the people of Quraysh, because they were there and they burned down the temple. So he decided to come and destroy Kaaba. And what he did was, like, he gathered the biggest army of his time. Almost 60,000 people were included in his army, including a lot of elephants, and elephants were quite unknown in the Arab world. And the biggest elephant, a mammoth of elephant, his name was Mahmud. So he collected all those people in the army, and then he went ahead straight to Kaaba. When he reached near Makkah, he found that the Abdul Muttalib, who was the custodian of Kaaba, his camels were flocking around. So he kind of captured them, and he decided to negotiate with Abdul Muttalib. He told Abdul Muttalib that I don't have any animosity with you. It's just that I'm just going to come and destroy Kaaba and leave. And Abdul Muttalib was quite, of course, disturbed and annoyed. But then they knew that they would not be able to sustain this biggest army. So Abdul Muttalib told all of his people to move away from Makkah and go up to the mountains and then just save themselves. And as Abraha was trying to negotiate and tell Abdul Muttalib told him that, you can do whatever you like, just return my camels. I'm the owner of those camels. The owner of Kaaba is Allah Ta'ala, and he will take care of this thing on his own. So eventually Abraha released the camels, and Abdul Muttalib and his tribes, they all went away from Makkah. But it just so happened that as they started to approach, Abraha and the army started to approach Kaaba, the biggest elephant just bowed down, and he just won't approach towards Kaaba. And they tried everything. They beat this elephant down, but he won't just listen. And the moment they turn his face away from Kaaba, he would just stand up and go. So in the midst of that, they said, okay, forget about this elephant, and they all started to rush towards Kaaba. And suddenly they found that there were flock of birds that were approaching them, and these birds were carrying small pellets, and these pellets were like bullets. So these flocks of birds, which is collectively called a Babil, they all came in and they threw all those pellets, and all the army was destroyed, with the exception of few people who ended up in Makkah, and few of them went back to Yemen. And this was a deliberate act by the God to let people know what is the outcome of people who does such things. So this is a brief history of this surah. Some of the lessons learned in this surah is that Allah is great, so there is no greater power than Allah in this universe. Lesson number 2 is Allah doesn't need a reason for anything to happen. So this is something that came out of blue, but Allah, whenever He decides, He just does things out of his whims, and no one can control that. It's not related to a cause and effect, it's just his whim. And the third lesson is that Kaaba is a sacred place. So it's incumbent on all Muslims to safeguard and protect Kaaba. Some of the key words that were used in this surah are, I just picked up, there are so many, but I just picked up 3 words, which is number 1 is fil. Fil means elephant in English. The second is ababil. Ababil is flock of birds. So there's a kind of a misnomer that ababil is the name of the bird. It is not. Ababil is just a flock of a lot of birds. So they came in thousands, or I don't know if in millions. And the third word, the third important word that is used in this surah is sejil. Sejil are those stones. So these are the stones that are made of hard mud, which is like, you know, cooked mud, and it was very hard, which went through their body. A quick, again, a high-level summary of Surah Fil in 4 words is. I'm not going to recite the Arabic, but I'm just going to recite or translate it in English, which is, did you see what Allah did to people of elephant? Number 2 is he destroyed their plans. Number 3 is that he sent flock of birds with stones, pelleting them, and in the end they all were made look like hay. So it's not only hay, but hay which is eaten up by animals. So that's the end of a quick summary of Surah Fil. I hope that I have been able to summarize that, and if I have made any mistake in that, I feel that like I just need pardon. Thank you.